Imagine a murder in a remote field with no witnesses and no clues to guide the police. A case that seems destined to remain unsolved until one extraordinary hero takes the lead. Not a detective, not a forensic expert, but a four-legged canine with a nose that can follow a killer's trail. This is the true story of how a police dog named Leena solved the Vivek murder case in India. Stay with us. You won't believe where her instincts led. A mystery in the fields. In 2020, the quiet village of Kushalia, India, was shaken by a brutal crime. A young man named Vivek, known for his kind heart and hard work, was found dead in a remote field, far from the bustle of village life. His murder sent shockwaves through the community, leaving his family in anguish and the police grasping for answers. With no eyewitnesses and a crime scene exposed to the elements, the investigation faced daunting challenges. The trails seemed cold from the start, and the killers appeared to have vanished without a trace. But hope was not lost. The police called in a remarkable ally, a police dog named Leena, whose tracking skills would turn the tide. Welcome to Beyond Facts TV, where we uncover the stories that go beyond the headlines. Today, we're diving into the Vivek murder case, a gripping tale of tragedy, determination, and the incredible instincts of a canine hero who brought justice to a grieving village. Vivek's life and loss. Vivek was a pillar of his community in Kushalia, a small village where everyone knew each other. In his early 30s, he was a hard-working individual, often seen tending to his family's fields or helping neighbors with their tasks. His warm smile and willingness to lend a hand made him a beloved figure among the villagers. Vivek was devoted to his family, supporting his parents and siblings with his earnings and dreaming of a brighter future. He was not someone who sought trouble. His life revolved around simple joys, sharing meals with loved ones, working the land, and planning for the day he might start a family of his own. But beneath the surface of village life, tensions sometimes simmered. Disputes over land, money, or personal grudges were not uncommon, though Vivek was rarely involved. On the day of his murder, he left home as usual, heading to the fields to work. When he didn't return by evening, his family grew worried. Their fears were confirmed when his body was discovered in a distant field, bearing the marks of a violent attack. The news spread quickly, and the village was consumed by grief and fear. Who could have done this? And why? The police launched an investigation, but the open field offered little evidence. Footprints were muddled by weather, and no murder weapon was found. The case risked fading into obscurity until a four-legged detective named Leena was brought to the scene. A brutal act in isolation. The truth behind Vivek's death was as heartbreaking as it was shocking. He had been lured to a remote field under false pretenses, where he was ambushed and murdered by 3 individuals. The motive remains unclear. Perhaps a personal vendetta, a dispute gone wrong, or an act of senseless violence. The killers attacked Vivek with ruthless force, leaving his body in the field and fleeing into the night. They believed the isolation of the crime scene would protect them. The field was far from any homes, and the cover of darkness ensured no one saw their escape. By the time Vivek's body was discovered, hours had passed, and the elements had begun to erase what little evidence remained. The killers returned to their homes in the village, blending back into daily life as if nothing had happened. They were confident that no one could connect them to the crime. The police arrived at the scene, cordoning off the field and searching for clues. They interviewed villagers, but no one had seen or heard anything suspicious. The lack of physical evidence was maddening. Without a breakthrough, the killers might walk free. The investigation team was under pressure to deliver justice. not just for Vivek's family, but for a community gripped by fear. That's when they turned to their most unconventional asset, a police dog named Leena, whose tracking skills could follow a scent where human efforts had failed. The police dog's role. Leena, the scent tracker. Enter Leena, a Labrador retriever whose name would soon be celebrated in Kushalia. Leena was a highly trained member of the local police K9 unit, specializing in scent tracking. This skill is a testament to the remarkable abilities of police dogs. Tracking dogs like Leena are trained to follow a specific human scent across vast distances, distinguishing it from countless other smells in the environment. They can pick up traces left on grass, soil, or even objects, navigating through challenging terrains like fields or forests. Leena's training was rigorous, involving months of work with her handler to hone her focus and precision. Her nose was her superpower, capable of detecting a scent trail hours or even days after it was left. When Leena arrived at the crime scene, the police were skeptical. The field was exposed to wind and rain, and the trail seemed too faint to follow. But Leena's handler, a seasoned K9 officer, had unshakable faith in her abilities. They provided Leena with an item from the crime scene, likely a piece of clothing or an object touched by the suspects. Leena sniffed it carefully, locking onto the scent. Then, with her handler by her side, she set off across the field. Her movements were deliberate, her nose low to the ground as she followed an invisible path. She led the police through the fields, past patches of crops, and toward the village. The trail stretched for nearly a kilometer, but Leena never wavered. Finally, she stopped at a street in the village, directly in front of a house. The police were stunned. This was the residence of 3 men who would soon become the prime suspects. Leena had done what no human could. She had followed the killer's scent from the crime scene to their doorstep. Investigation breakthrough. Justice for Vivek. Leena's tracking was the breakthrough that turned the Vivek murder case around. Her pinpoint accuracy led the police straight to the suspect's home, a place they might never have searched otherwise. Armed with this new lead, the investigators moved quickly. They questioned the 3 men, who initially denied any involvement. But Leena's evidence gave the police leverage. The suspects' alibis were shaky, and under intense interrogation, their stories began to crumble. One by one, they confessed to their roles in Vivek's murder, revealing details that matched the evidence at the scene. The confessions were a turning point, providing closure to Vivek's family and relief to the village. The police gathered additional evidence to corroborate the confessions, ensuring a strong case for prosecution. The 3 suspects were arrested and charged with murder, facing justice for their brutal act. Leena's role was celebrated by the investigation team, who credited her with breaking open a case that seemed unsolvable. The trial that followed was swift, with the suspects convicted based on their confessions and the trail Leena had uncovered. Vivek's family, though devastated by their loss, found solace in knowing the killers were behind bars. The village of Kushalia began to heal, and Leena became a local legend, a dog who had brought justice where hope was fading. Conclusion: the legacy of Leena. The Vivek murder case is a powerful reminder of the extraordinary abilities of police dogs like Leena, whose instincts can solve even the most elusive crimes. Vivek's tragic story underscores the importance of justice, and Leena's legacy lives on as a symbol of hope and determination. If you were moved by this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Beyond Facts TV for more true crime tales. Know more about this case or other K9 stories? Comment below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.